Welcome to Open Your Reality. This video is centered around chapter 34 of my favorite spiritual book called Autobiography of a Yogi. It was written by a truly enlightened guru from India named Paramahansa Yogananda. This is no mere book. It has been in continuous print for over 70 years, has sold millions of copies, been translated into more than 45 languages, and is the only book Steve Jobs had downloaded on his iPad. It has been read by countless celebrities, including Elvis, the Beatles, and is known to be a life-changing book. I know it was for me. The book is beautifully written in a type of poetic prose that is very uncommon. The words and stories in Autobiography of a Yogi are so wonderfully told that it's not uncommon to reread the book over and over again. In fact, Steve Jobs made it a point to read the book once every year. One of the most intriguing aspects of the book is this mysterious and powerful figure known as Babaji. Yogananda, who is a Kriya Yoga master, retraces his lineage back to Babaji, who is said to be the deathless guru that roams through the Himalayas. Rarely seen, Babaji holds incredible powers and can bilocate, read minds, materialize whatever he wants, and bring the dead back to life. Truly, this is not an ordinary man, but an ascended master of the highest order. I've talked about Babaji many times in past videos. In this one, I want to relay the story of how Lahiri Mahasaya, who was one of Babaji's most important disciples, met with Babaji again in a cave in northern India. Lahiri, in his current life as a householder, had previously been unaware of Babaji. It was in his past lives that he served as a close disciple, but his memory had been wiped at birth in his current avatar. Babaji changed that by tapping Lahiri on the forehead. All of a sudden, the memories of his past lives and Babaji flooded back to Lahiri, which I'm going to recount now. Chapter 34 is one of my favorite chapters in Autobiography of a Yogi. This is the story of Lahiri's incredible meeting with the deathless guru. I've not told the complete story in this video, but more of the abridged version. If you want to hear the entire chapter, check out my other channel called Bend the Spoon, where I have a 24-minute video on the chapter. I'll put the link below. Before we begin, if you enjoy my work and wish to support me, you can do so via a one-time donation through PayPal or by becoming a patron. Both links are below and will allow me to continue making these types of videos. Thank you in advance. And without further delay, here's the abridged story of how Lahiri met Babaji once again and the manifestation of a golden palace. As I maintained a bewildered silence, the saint approached and struck me gently on the forehead. At his magnetic touch, a wondrous current swept through my brain, releasing the sweet seed memories of my previous life. I remember! My voice was half choked with joyous sobs. You are my guru, Babaji, who has belonged to me always. Scenes of the past arise vividly in my mind. Here in this cave, I spent many years of my last incarnation. As ineffable recollections overwhelmed me, I tearfully embraced my master's feet. For more than 3 decades, I have waited for you here, waited for you to return to me. Babaji's voice rang with celestial love. You slipped away and vanished into the tumultuous waves of the life beyond death. The magic wand of your karma touched you, and you were gone. Though you lost sight of me, never did I lose sight of you. I pursued you over the luminescent astral sea, where the glorious angels sail. Through gloom, storm, upheaval, and light I followed you, like a mother bird guarding her young. As you lived out your human term of womb life and emerged a babe, my eye was ever on you. When you covered your tiny form in the lotus posture under the Nadia sands in your childhood, I was invisibly present. Patiently, month after month, year after year, I have watched over you, waiting for this perfect day. Now you are with me. Lo, here is your cave, loved of yore. I have kept it ever clean and ready for you. Here is your hallowed asana blanket, where you daily sat to fill your expanded heart with God. Behold there your bowl, from which you often drank the nectar prepared by me. See how I have kept the brass cup brightly polished, that you might drink again therefrom. My own, do you now understand? My guru, what can I say? I murmured brokenly. Where has one ever heard of such deathless love? I gazed long and ecstatically on my eternal treasure, my guru in life and death. Lahiri, you need purification. Drink the oil in this bowl and lie down by the river. Babaji's practical wisdom, I reflected with a quick reminiscent smile, was ever to the fore. I obeyed his directions. Though the icy Himalayan night was descending, a comforting warmth and inner radiation began to pulsate in every cell of my body. I marveled. Was the unknown oil endued with a cosmical heat? Bitter winds whipped around me in the darkness, shrieking a fierce challenge. The chill wavelets of the Gogash River lapped now and then over my body, outstretched on the rocky bank. Tigers howled nearby, but my heart was free of fear. The radiant force newly generated within me conveyed an assurance of unassailable protection. Several hours passed swiftly. Faded memories of another life wove themselves into the present brilliant pattern of reunion with my divine guru. My solitary musings were interrupted by the sound of approaching footsteps. In the darkness, a man's hand gently helped me to my feet and gave me some dry clothing. "Come, brother," my companion said. "The master awaits you." He led the way through the forest. The somber night was suddenly lit by a steady luminosity in the distance. "Can that be sunrise?" I inquired. "Surely the whole night has not passed." "The hour is midnight," my guide laughed softly. "Yonder light is the glow of a golden palace, materialized here tonight by the peerless Babaji. In the dim past, you once expressed a desire to enjoy the beauties of a palace. Our master is now satisfying your wish, thus freeing you from the bonds of karma." He added, "The magnificent palace will be the scene of your initiation tonight into Kriya Yoga. All your brothers here join in a paean of welcome, rejoicing at the end of your long exile. Behold!" A vast palace of dazzling gold stood before us, studded with countless jewels and set amidst landscape gardens. It presented a spectacle of unparalleled grandeur. Saints of angelic countenance were stationed by resplendent gates, half reddened by the glitter of rubies. Diamonds, pearls, sapphires, and emeralds of great size and luster were embedded in the decorative arches. I followed my companion into a spacious reception hall. The odor of incense and of roses wafted through the air. Dim lamps shed a multicolored glow. Small groups of devotees, some fair, some dark-skinned, chanted musically or sat in the meditative posture, immersed in an inner peace. A vibrant joy pervaded the atmosphere. "Feast your eyes, enjoy the artistic splendors of this palace, for it has been brought into being solely in your honor." My guide smiled sympathetically as I uttered a few ejaculations of wonderment. "Brother," I said, "the beauty of this structure surpasses the bounds of human imagination. Please tell me the mystery of its origin." "I will gladly enlighten you." My companion's dark eyes sparkled with wisdom. "In reality, there is nothing inexplicable about this materialization. The whole cosmos is a materialized thought of the Creator. This heavy earthly clod floating in space is a dream of God. He made all things out of his consciousness, even as a man in his dream consciousness reproduces and vivifies a creation with its creatures. God first created the earth as an idea, then he quickened it, energy atoms came into being. He coordinated the atoms into this solid sphere. All its molecules are being held together by the will of God. When he withdraws his will, the earth again will disintegrate into energy. Energy will dissolve into consciousness. The earth idea will disappear from objectivity. The substance of a dream is held in materialization by the subconscious thought of the dreamer. When that cohesive thought is withdrawn in wakefulness, the dream and its elements dissolve. A man closes his eyes and erects a dream creation which, on awakening, he effortlessly dematerializes. He follows the divine archetypal pattern. Similarly, when he awakens in cosmic consciousness, he will effortlessly dematerialize the illusions of the cosmic dream. Being one with the infinite all-accomplishing will, Babaji can summon the elemental atoms to combine and manifest themselves in any form. This golden palace, instantly created, is real, even as this earth is real. Babaji created this palatial mansion out of his mind and is holding its atoms together by the power of his will, even as God created this earth and is maintaining it intact. He added, "When this structure has served its purpose, Babaji will dematerialize it." As I remained silent in awe, my guide made me a sweeping gesture. This shimmering palace, superbly embellished with jewels, has not been built by human effort or with laboriously mined gold and gems. It stands solidly, a monumental challenge to man. Whoever realizes himself as a son of God, even as Babaji has done, can reach any goal by the infinite powers hidden within him. A common stone locks within itself the secret of stupendous atomic energy. Even so, a mortal is yet a powerhouse of divinity. The sage picked up from a nearby table a graceful vase, whose handle was blazing with diamonds. Our great guru created this palace by solidifying myriads of free cosmic rays, he went on. Touch this vase and its diamonds. They will satisfy all the tests of sensory experience. I examined the vase and passed my hand over the smooth room walls, thick with glistening gold. Each of the jewels scattered lavishly about was worthy of a king's collection. Deep satisfaction spread over my mind. A submerged desire, hidden in my subconscious from lives now gone, seemed simultaneously gratified and extinguished. My stately companion led me through ornate arches and corridors into a series of chambers, richly furnished in the style of an emperor's palace. We entered an immense hall. In the center stood a golden throne, encrusted with jewels, shedding a dazzling medley of colors. There, in lotus posture, sat the supreme Babaji. I knelt on the shining floor at his feet. Lahiri, are you still feasting on your dream desires for a golden palace? My guru's eyes were twinkling like his own sapphires. Wake! All your earthly thirsts are about to be quenched forever. He murmured some mystic words of blessing. My son, arise. Receive your initiation into the kingdom of God through Kriya Yoga. Babaji stretched out his hand. A homa or sacrificial fire appeared, surrounded by fruits and flowers. I received the liberating yogic technique before this flaming altar. The rites were completed in the early dawn. I felt no need for sleep in my ecstatic state and wandered around the palace, filled on all sides with treasures and priceless objects of art. Descending to the gorgeous gardens, I noticed nearby the same caves and barren mountain ledges which yesterday had boasted no adjacency to palace or flowered terrace. Re-entering the palace, fabulously glistening in the cold Himalayan sunlight, I sought the presence of my master. He was still enthroned, surrounded by many quiet disciples. Lahiri, are you hungry? Babaji added. Close your eyes. When I reopened them, the enchanting palace and its picturesque gardens had disappeared. My own body and the forms of Babaji and the cluster of chelas were all now seated on the bare ground, at the exact site of the vanished palace, not far from the sunlight entrances of the rocky grottos. I recalled that my guide had remarked that the palace would be dematerialized, its captive atoms released into the thought essence from which it had sprung. Although stunned, I looked trustingly at my guru. I knew not what to expect next on this day of miracles. The purpose for which the palace was created has now been served, Babaji explained. He lifted an earthen vessel from the ground. Put your hand there and receive whatever food you desire. As soon as I touched the broad empty bowl, it became heaped with hot butter-fried luchis, curry, and rare sweetmeats. I helped myself, observing that the vessel was ever filled. At the end of my meal, I looked around for water. My guru pointed to the bowl before me. Lo, the food had vanished. In its place was water, clear as from a mountain stream. Few mortals know that the kingdom of God includes the kingdom of mundane fulfillments, Babaji observed. The divine realm extends to the earthly, but the latter, being illusory, can include the essence of reality. Beloved Guru, last night you demonstrated for me the link of beauty in heaven and earth. I smiled at memories of the vanished palace. Surely no simple yogi had ever received initiation into the august mysteries of spirit amidst surroundings of more impressive luxury. I gazed tranquilly at the stark contrast of the present scene. The gaunt ground, the sky-like roof, the caves offering primitive shelter all seemed a gracious natural setting for the seraphic saints surrounding me. I sat that afternoon on my blanket, hollowed by associations of past life realizations. My divine guru approached and passed his hand over my head. I entered the samadhi state, remaining unbrokenly in its bliss for 7 days. Crossing the successive strata of self-knowledge, I penetrated the deathless realms of reality. All delusive limitations dropped away. My soul was fully established on the eternal altar of the cosmic spirit. On the 8th day, I fell at my guru's feet and implored him to keep me always near him in this sacred wilderness. My son, Babaji said, embracing me, your role in this incarnation must be played on an outward stage. Prenatally blessed by many lives of lonely meditation, you must now mingle in the world of men. A deep purpose underlay the fact that you did not meet me this time until you were already a married man, with modest business responsibilities. You must put aside your thoughts of joining our secret band in the Himalayas. Your life lies in the crowded marts, serving as an example of the ideal yogi householder. The cries of many bewildered worldly men and women have not fallen unheard on the ears of the great ones, he went on. You have been chosen to bring spiritual solace through Kriya Yoga to numerous earnest seekers. The millions who are encumbered by family ties and heavy worldly duties will now take new heart from you, a householder like themselves. You must guide them to see that the highest yogic attainments are not barred to the family man. Even in the world, the yogi who faithfully discharges his responsibilities without personal motive or attachment treads the sure path of enlightenment. No necessity compels you to leave the world, for inwardly you have already surrendered to its every karmic tie. Not of this world, you must yet be in it. Many years still remain during which you must conscientiously fulfill your family, business, civic, and spiritual duties. A sweet new breath of divine hope will penetrate the arid hearts of worldly men. From your balanced life, they will understand that the liberation is dependent on inner rather than outer renunciations. How remote seemed my family, the office, the world, as I listened to my guru in the high Himalayan solitudes. Yet unbreakable truth rang in his words. I submissively agreed to leave this blessed haven of peace. Babaji instructed me in the ancient rigid rules which govern the transmission of the yogic art from guru to disciple. Bestow the Kriya key only on qualified chelas, Babaji said. He who vows to sacrifice all in the quest of the divine is fit to unravel the final mysteries of life through the science of meditation. Angelic Guru, as you have already favored mankind by resurrecting the lost Kriya art, will you not increase that benefit by relaxing the strict requirements for discipleship? I gazed beseechingly at Babaji. I pray that you permit me to communicate Kriya to all seekers, even though at first they cannot vow themselves to complete inner renunciation. The tortured men and women of the world, pursued by the threefold suffering, needs special encouragement. They may never attempt the road to freedom if Kriya initiation be withheld from them. Be it so. The divine wish has been expressed through you. With these simple words, the merciful Guru banished the rigorous safeguards that for ages had kept Kriya Yoga from the world. Give Kriya freely to all who humbly ask for help. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please sign up to my free email list below to be alerted to every new video I post. It just takes a few seconds and it's completely free. Thank you to all the patrons and supporters of the channel. You guys make it possible for me to continue making these types of videos, truly. I'm thinking of doing a live stream soon where I'm going to talk about some of my favorite spiritual stories from all books, including more from Autobiography of a Yogi. So look for that soon. And finally, this is the first video where I'm revealing that I have a new Open Your Reality clothing line. You can click the link in the below description to see the various clothing and accessories that I'm now offering. I'll talk more about that in future videos. Thank you for staying with me all the way until the end. I greatly appreciate you. And until the next time, I'm wishing you peace, love, and prosperity. Namaste.